the snake of what you're getting is not good food.
And so, Dan, I know you're going to talk more about this, but talk about the actual lodge itself and how it's built around Solomon, and then how Solomon interacts with his first degree.
Yeah. Okay. So the lodge itself is representing Solomon's temple. So when the lodge is open, that is the setting in which you guys are meeting, right? So this part that I'm getting ready to go through is not in the actual ritual, but it's in the Bible, which is more important. So if we go to 1 Kings chapter 9, verses 15 through 22, you don't have to read it right now, but I do encourage folks that are watching and listening to go back and read it later. It states very clearly that the laborers that were working on building the temple were slave laborers that Solomon picked out. And it just so happens that they're all from the Canaanite bloodline. So an example that you'll find in 1 Kings is the Amorites, which are descendants of Ham. And they're also known as like mountain people from Canaan. So quite literally, if where you're meeting is the Solomon's temple and you as a Freemason are workers or workmen, are you representing the slave labor from the Canaanite bloodline? I don't know, but...
Yeah, and another one I found was, and it blew us away, 1 Kings 5, 15 through 18. Now Solomon had 70,000 transporters, 80,000 ewers of stone in the mountains. Besides Solomon, 3,300 chief deputies who were over the project, who ruled over the people who were doing over the work. So there's your number, 3,300 were ruling over the people. So Dan said he got up to 32nd. He didn't cross that 33. There seems to be kind of like a...
Yeah, and remember, there absolutely, and there is a hierarchy, right? I mean, you've got the worshipful master in the lodge, which is the one running the whole show in that particular lodge. But as you work your way through the district and the state and the region that you're in, there are different leadership boards. So it is structured very much so like that. Another scripture that's worth looking at as well here would be in 2 Chronicles. It's in chapter 7. Let me read that for you. I believe it's verse 16. It says, "For now I have chosen and consecrated this house that my name may be there forever. My eyes and my heart will be there for all time." This is Yahweh speaking to Solomon about his presence, right? Just to put some context on that particular verse, Solomon was off making a sacrifice, burnt offering. And it was like, 120,000 sheep or something like that. I mean, it's like an extraordinary number. And fire comes down from heaven and God begins to speak to Solomon. And what I want to point out is if God is saying his name will reign forever in that temple, Freemasonry is not lifting up the name of God. There's no name that's mentioned in the first 3 degrees. God is always referred to as the grand architect of the universe. So just a real quick right there shows that they're not even doing what the Bible's teaching should be done in the temple. So I think that's an important distinction, because Freemasonry is deism. It's basically God. The word or title God is just a variable. Pick whatever you want. If you follow Jesus, great. If you follow Allah, great. If you follow whoever, fill in the blank, that's fine.
We know there's other Elohim, and the Shriners are in the Islamic sect of it. So it's just one big smorgasbord of the the council with the other Elohims out there. But,
that's exactly right.
So Dan, anything more on like the burnt offering or forced labor, or you got anything else for us on this first degree?
The only other thing I would mention is there's some, I don't remember if it was like the testimony of Abraham. That's probably wrong, but it's some extra biblical text where it talks about you couldn't hear any of the workmanship that was going on in the building of the temple. So you couldn't hear the clanging of metals and that sort of thing. I think our Bible tells us it's because stuff was being fashioned in the quarries and it was done far enough away where you couldn't hear it. But there's some extra biblical texts that say that the temple was built by demons and that Solomon used a signet ring to control the demons to do this forced labor. And if you look at most Masons will wear a signet ring with the square and compasses on it. So I think that's another just an important connection to this idea of working in the temple.
They know they're workers. They know they have duties to do. But like you said, they're hidden. They don't know this. They don't read their Bibles. They're
correct.
They're just feeding homeless people, eating cake, night out from the wife.
Right. That's right. Trying to keep the lodge doors open and trying to fundraise. That's right.
Collecting money. Yeah. So do you have anything on Psalm 133? I know that's big into this, into this first degree and stuff like that.
Yeah, Psalms 133 is huge because it kind of feels like it comes